this old house, gotta get out. Gonna get a little bit loud. Cold drinks and friends all around. Headed to the lake.
Okay, I got something a little different today. Something I normally don't do. Something I don't really like to get involved in. But I'm gonna do something different today. Just an idea I have, kind of a product review. I normally don't do product reviews, but I'm gonna try it today. Y'all let me know if you like them. I may do some more on some different products, but take a look. I'm gonna do something that I normally just don't even partake in, but I'm gonna do a product review, I guess you can say. You're gonna see it as I see it. So this is, I've been doing a lot of research on a generator. I wanted a generator that I could run my welder off of away from a power source. So I wanted a generator that would pull my MIG welder. And I've done a lot of research. There's a lot of debate on what does this, what does that. But I've seen a lot of good information about this particular generator. Now, yes, my MIG welder has the potential to need more watts than what this is, but only if my welder is turned way up and most of the stuff that I weld is not thick enough for me to require the welder to be turned way up. Most of the stuff I'm doing is like sheet metal on the car, or something along those lines where it's a thinner material. Now, granted, if I need to weld some thicker material, I will have to plug up to a source, most likely. I have not tried this yet, but that's going to be one of the first things that I do try, is to see how high I can go with this and everything still function without putting stress on anything. So that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about what this is. This is the Harbor Freight Predator generators. I have seen nothing negative about them, only positive, so I'm gonna look into it. Now, this is just fresh out of the box. I haven't done anything yet. It's just out of the box as you see it. Now, I did decide to buy the battery to put on it for the electric start. Originally, I was not gonna do that. I was just gonna pull start it, but I did decide to go with the battery. So I have put the battery in it, and now I still got to put some oil in it, and I have to put fuel in it. But let's take a look at a couple things first. First off, this has an 8-gallon fuel tank, claims 13 hours of run time. Does have a fuel gauge on it. It says you can run, it's upside down, but it says you can run 10% ethanol fuel in it, is how it's set up to be run. But it says no E85. So we have an electric start on it. We have a low oil shut off, but it has a low oil alert. So if the oil gets low before it shuts off, you get a light for the alert. 12 volt power with its own breaker. You've got 4 120 plug-ins with their own breaker. You have two 240 plug-ins with their own breaker. It claims 30 amp breakers, so in theory should be plenty for anything I need. The only drawback I have seen so far, and it's not a drawback to this particular generator, but really to any generator this size, is simply the weight. This thing is heavy. I think it comes in somewhere around 250 pounds. So it is a heavy generator, but this is not one that you pick up and tote around a lot. It's one that you're going to put somewhere. Now, there is a wheel kit that you can get that where you can mount wheels on the back of it and an arm on the front of it so you can roll it around. This generator is more than likely going to be mounted for the purposes I'm going to use it. It's going to be mounted down, permanently mounted down. So I don't see any reason to need the wheel kit. I may change my mind in the future on that. But so now I'm going to put a little fuel in it. I'm going to get some oil to put in it, and we're going to do a first fire and see how it fires up. So I can't do that holding the camera, so let's get started. So now we have a little bit of fuel in it. I put about a gallon of fuel in it and put oil in it. Now it says it takes just a fraction over a quart, but according to the little stick on the end of the cap, it's full. It may go down a little bit. after it's run, but we're gonna fire it up and see what happens. Now, I have not fired this thing yet. I don't know anything about what it'll do, what it won't do, how easy it is to crank, how hard it is to crank. But before we fire it, I'm gonna say one thing. It's not a reflection on the Predator brand, the Harbor Freight name, anything to do with this, but I will say this, the fuel cap is so far under there that you have to have a pretty long funnel to get to it. Now, I say that just to let you know, again, nothing negative. It's probably simply due to the fact that the tank on it is so big. It's an 8-gallon tank. The tank is so big it hangs out over the motor. So it's just one of those things. So let's see about firing it up. We're gonna follow the instructions written right across here and see what it does. We've already put the oil in it. We've put the fuel in it. So it says choke it, turn the fuel valve on, and hit the button. So let's see what happens. Come over here, turn the choke on, it's already on apparently. And we're gonna turn the fuel on. So that should be on according to the directions there. We're gonna come over here and let's hit the starter and see what happens. There it is, up and running. I'm going to say this, some of the reviews I read mentioned that it being very loud. I'm 8 foot away from it, maybe 10. I can have a conversation. It's really not as loud as what I would have expected it to be. I would expect it to be a lot louder. I've got I think it's a 4,000, 5,000 watt generator over there. I carry the racetrack with me and it runs my camper and air compressors and all that. It's much louder than that 9,000 watt Predator. So the generator really isn't all that loud. It's very tolerable actually. Again, I'm only like 10 feet away from it. You can hear it running, but it doesn't interfere with having a conversation or anything. So I'm kind of impressed with it. So my final thoughts on the generator. I have not hooked my welder to it, which is what I intentionally purchased it for. I have to have a little adapter cord for the different style plug, so I have not done that yet. But I will say I couldn't film it because I have to hold the camera in one hand. I don't have anybody out here to help me with that. So I will say I hooked a couple of saws to it, turned them both on at the same time. Didn't even the speed of the engine didn't even change. It didn't even know it was hooked up. I actually hooked my air compressor here up to it. It's a pretty good size air compressor. I hooked it up to it. The speed of the motor didn't even change. It didn't even notice it was hooked up to it. So I'm actually quite impressed by this generator. It is a very good deal at the size and the price market it's in. And I've had a few generators of different sizes over the years, and this one has impressed me as much as any of them I've ever seen or ever owned. So over the next few days, because of some things I got to do to the race car and some things I got to do to some customer vehicles, just to get a feel for it, I will be hooking my welder to it and using it. I want to see what it will weld at different thicknesses. Of course, now I'm not going to try that on a car, but I'm going to try on some scrap metal, some different thicknesses of metals and stuff, and just see what it will take to actually, at this point, I want to know how much power has to be drawn from this thing for it to even speed the motor up, to even notice that it's got a load on it. So far, everything I've hooked to it, the generator doesn't even seem to know there's a load on it. So I'm very impressed with this generator. I'm actually going to order the cord, the adapter cord for the twist lock to go to the 3-prong that's on my welder, just so I can plug my welder up to it and see what it will take. I'm curious of two things. One, to see what it will take for the generator to even feel a load, for speed the motor up because it feels a load. And secondly, I'm interested to know how much how far I can go with it. So I'm gonna work the snot out of it and find out. If it survives my testing, then I don't think anybody anywhere could ever have a fault with it. So we'll see what happens over the next few days. I also want to say one other thing. This thing comes with a 90-day in-store warranty. They will replace it for any reason. Doesn't matter what happens to it. 90 days in-store warranty. You can purchase an extra 1-year or 2-year warranty to go with it. That warranty will not start till after the 90 days. So if you purchased a 1-year warranty, you actually end up with like a 15-month warranty, that kind of deal. So it is worth thinking. Price-wise, let's talk about the price. This one retails on the shelf for $650, $649. Of course, you can find coupons and discounts and deals. You know, Harbor Freight is always doing something. But this one advertises for $649. The same generator in, say, a Honda, no, completely different company, but price point. The same generator for a Honda, I think, is like $1,150, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so far, I can't see anything that this one couldn't do that any other generator can do. Super quick start. I mean, almost as soon as you hit the button, you've seen it. It's almost as soon as it spins over, it's already cranked. I can't say enough so far at how impressed I am with it. So, yeah, stay tuned. We're going to do some hard testing on it, and in the coming days, you'll probably know exactly what it will and won't do. Hey, real quick, one last thought as I start out. I just got to say this. A lot of people talk about the noise. A lot of the reviews I've read on this thing, the only thing that anybody would say remotely negative about this thing is that it's loud. And they talk about how to build a quiet box and all this stuff. Those people obviously have never owned a generator before, or the only thing they've owned is the little tiny quiet Hondas that you take out in the woods to go camping with Bambi so you won't disturb the little birdies. I don't know. That is the quietest generator of that size that I've ever ran. I have it's either a 5,000 or 6,000 watt generator that I carry to the racetrack and stuff with me, as I said earlier. It's twice as loud as that generator. Yes, it does make noise, of course. It's a freaking generator. It does make noise. Yes, if you've got your ear stuck against the gas tank, it is kind of loud. Dude, it's the quietest one I've ever used. So, take it for what it's worth. Just take reviews with a grain of salt. You know, everybody's got different opinions how things should be. Your definition of loud and mine may not be the same. I'm impressed with it. I'll let you know how impressed in the next few days, but so far I think it's the best purchase I've made at Harbor Freight. So, until next time, God bless y'all.
I'm tired of this old house, gotta get out. Gonna get a little bit loud. Cold drinks and friends all around. Headed to the lake.